happy days are here again, people. Why? Because we finally got it, man. We finally got a new ban list. Many people have been wondering for months, when was it going to come, especially now that we're not on set dates anymore, and Konami has proven they'll just drop this whenever they randomly feel like it. Many people thought we needed one, like, right after Zodiacs, or right before Zodiacs. Well, we finally got it, and we kind of got it when it made sense. Like, many people were saying that they didn't want a repeat of the Pepe debacle from last year, so they figured, let's give it time. Like, let's have this deck go to a few events. Let's have it top. Let's have its time to shine. Let people really get their money's worth out of it. And after a UDS where they did amazing, after several YCSs, many regionals and all that good stuff, we finally have a ban list that hits them, gives us the new erratas coming out in Duelist Saga. And before we get into the list, one thing I find hilarious is that this one goes into effect March 31st, literally the day Duelist Saga comes out. This is basically an advertisement for that set, which makes a lot of sense because we're getting the new erratas, and you don't want to do it like you did with Dark Magician of Chaos where you let it sit for a long time. Get it out right away so that way people can have fun with the erratas and try them out. I don't particularly care for erratas. I'd rather let the card keep its legendary status as a banned overly broken card. Hell, half of these I thought could have probably just come back without one, but whatever, they're here. Let's start talking about it. As always, I start from the bottom of the list and work my way up, because I did look at this before, and because I was at work, of course I had to look and see what was going on, so I'd rather give some actual thought out opinions instead of just random, what the hell? So first up, starting off with things that are no longer on the list that are at 3. Sangan! Who cares? Even without the errata, no one would play it anymore. Bye! Next. On to semi-limited. Weirdly enough, this might be one of the only times where the semi-limited stuff is the most important part of this ban list. Like, oh my god. Of the little things that come out, my favorite thing on the semi-limited list is Wisdom Eye Magician. As many of you know, I'm a big Magician Pendulum fan, and I'm also a hater of any time that they preemptively hit decks. Wisdom Eye went to 1 at a time where no one cared about Magicians except, like, me. Putting it to 2, I think, is a really fun way, and sort of an apology for putting it to 1 for no reason. It's a great card, and it really does help the deck. I don't know if Magicians can make a comeback at this point, but if anyone's going to give it a try, well, again, it'll probably be me, but now is the time to do it because Wisdom Eye is an amazing card. I'm actually a little shocked they went this subtle. As everyone knows, infamously now, Pendulum Evolution, a structure deck, is being made into a booster set that will have all the Magician Pendulums that you could have gotten for cheap, and now you got to pay extra for. So Wisdom Eye to 2 feels like a little promotion for that. But I'm shocked they didn't go all the way. Pendulum Evolution is such a blanket cash grab, and Konami very obviously is just putting it at the end of Pendulum's life and just trying to get you buy all the shitty Performer Pals that'll probably get reprinted in it and all that good stuff. I'm shocked they didn't put Wisdom Eye to 3 and put Pendulum Call to 3. Like, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna make your most scumbaggy move ever, at least put some flair into it. Just putting a card that was irrelevant to begin with and putting it to 2, that's it. Come on, Konami. We know how big a bunch of jerks you guys are. Why not go all the way and make this the biggest money cash grab debacle you'll ever go through? Then we have what I think are, one is very fair, one I think, I don't know. Zodiac Rat went to 2. Yeah, I'm just going to go right into it. The biggest hit on this list is a semi-limit hit. Usually semi-limited, in my opinion, never really is that big a deal. If it's at 2 or 3, a lot of times it's not huge. The card can still be consistently searched. Zodiac Rat is different. What makes Zodiac so powerful is that they can spam all 3 rats in one turn and keep using them over and over and over again. That's the deck's lifeblood. Putting it to 2 slows it down a lot. But everyone's being like, they're dead. They're not completely dead. It, as an engine, might not see as much play, but I'm sure there are dedicated Zodiac fans. You still got Barrage, you still have Invoker, you still have Trident, you still have all these powerful cards the deck has access to. Just now you've kind of got to think differently. You've got to use it differently. In my opinion, this really is the best kind of ban list hit. Just semi-limit it, slow the deck down. You don't need to outright kill it. Just hidden enough to make a difference, and that I think was done here. Are Zodiacs completely lit? I don't know. I think maybe Raptier is a 3 or 0 card. We'll have to wait and see. I don't feel comfortable making such a huge speculation of that. We know how much people like to keep expensive things alive in this game. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber to 2, I think, is maybe a little lackluster. Like, so much of what makes this card good is not just the fact that it gets out the kaijus, it's the fact that it's another dark hole, it's another board wipe, it's more blow up. And I feel like it being at 3 was so devastating. It's sort of like what I was saying a minute ago. Going to 2, I don't think really means anything. Like, especially because now that Zodiacs won't be as dominant, you're not going to see as much board wiping, so I almost feel like maybe the sort of fixing up of the meta bit maybe sort of checked this card in a way, but it is still very powerful and it does a lot of things, so that also makes me think maybe it should have just gone straight to 1 or even banned. Cards that are this powerful, that have all good effects, are usually pretty annoying and not very healthy for the game, but again, Kaiju is a TCG exclusive deck, or not TCG exclusive, it was made for the TCG by the TCG first, so usually the TCG likes to protect their babies. So on to limited. Limited this time around isn't really that interesting. Like I said, I don't like the idea of erratas. I don't like the idea of taking cards that were legendarily banned, have this very infamous status in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or famous, depending on how you view the ban list. And I don't like the fact of nerfing them, especially because most nerfs make them unplayable and just boring. You take all the fun and pizzazz away of these legendary cards when all they have are watered down effects that can barely keep up with today's meta. Having said that, these are not the worst erratas ever. So I just wanted to say that because Imperial orders at 1. That card is still very powerful, but I mean, everyone plays a monster-based out with Castell nowadays, especially after so many months of anti-spell. And also, technically, if I'm correct, you can still put your pendulums in the scale, you just can't use their effects. It's got a weird wording. Future Fusion, fine, it's still good, I guess. I mean, if you can make it to your second standby phase to fusion summon. The card got banned because it wasn't being used for fusion, it was just being used to dump your E-Dragons in the grave and some other dumb combos. So, whatever, probably could have come back 2 or 3 formats ago and would have made a difference with or without errata. Brain Control, you basically killed one of a fan favorite. The new effect is trash. Again, I think I said this last time the subject of Brain Control came up and other cards like it. Taking a control of opponents' monsters is not huge in this game. Maybe people might try combos with trying to steal Rat, but then the opponent's never just going to leave Rat. I'm even thinking too much about this. It's at 1, who cares? Brio, Brionic, I think, is still a great card. Again, being able to send crap back to the hand will never be a bad thing in this game. Especially when the links come out and you need to really hit certain things. Its errata, honestly, I don't think did too much to it, as I think a lot of the loops, I don't remember many of the Brio loops, but I think they've all been sort of taken care of on other ban list hits. The card's still strong, I could still see Water using it. If any deck has space in their extra deck and some room for some tuners, I would recommend it highly. Rescue Cat, I don't care. All the rescues are good, but like it doesn't have the toolbox ability of Rabbit. It doesn't have some of the comeback ability of Hamster, and I don't remember or care what Ferret does. Basically, who cares? Then we get my favorite next to the Wisdom Eye. Maxie is at 1. Finally, I hate this card. I hate it. Always have. Always will. Maxie does not do the job it does. It's completely unfair. Why? Because, well, when people defend Maxie, like, oh, it's such a meta check. Oh, it keeps everything under control because your opponent's got to watch their special summoning now. No, they don't. Here's the thing. You drop Maxie, if your opponent's got the OTK ready, they're going to still do it. Like, if you draw the Ghost Ogre, so be it. But that's not going to stop them. Who cares if you have 8 cards in hand if your life points are 0? On top of that, the card really doesn't protect you against anything. It kind of just enhances the players with the overly broken decks. Let's take Zodiacs, for example. 1 Rat sets up so much. Because of this, there's space for things like the Maxie. So because of this, a lot of times, the only decks that really benefited from Maxie were the same decks that people said it would destroy, which again, it didn't, because if you're just going to go for it, go for it. Or if you have to quit and give up, you're just dead next turn, because your opponent plays enough cards that maybe going minus from the Maxie makes no difference. I'm happy to see this card at 1. Keep it there, because I think at 1, I think it is fine. 1 Maxie, I don't think is too much of a problem. When I've literally had it where I get Maxied 1 turn, I live, and then I go again, and I get Maxied a second turn, so I think it's great at 1. What could possibly on this ban list to make me sad? Oh yeah, Kirin is now banned. Okay, this is kind of a weird one, because they didn't hit Paleozoics at all, which I think makes them best deck now. The thing is about the Kirin hit is one can make the argument it's a little preventative for Metal Foes. Metal Foes will still be very powerful again, and they loved Kirin. I'd argue they used Kirin the best out of any Pendulum deck. But the thing is, if you're going to preemptively hit them, why not preemptively hit ABC, or why not preemptively hit Paleozoics? It's not that much older than them. On top of that, again, hitting the Kirin hurts other Pendulum decks as well, as Kirin was the Pendulum's best defense, considering Pendulums don't normally have room for traps. So I just feel that banning this card maybe was a little too much. Not a lot got banned to this ban list, so I'm fine with that, but I would have preferred my favorite Horsey stay around, but I get it. I'm not going to argue this too much. I understand. Then we have Tyrant Neptune, card that enables a bullshit FTK. They did it last ban list with Kaiser Coliseum. They did it again. I'm not a fan of. I've said. I know I keep repeating myself. I don't like preemptive bans. I don't like banning cards that were never relevant and then lose their chance to have some time in the shine. Yes, I've faced the FTK on DevPro. It's annoying, but you know, a little time so that way this card isn't just like bad filler at the back of my binder. And finally, we get Vanities Emptiness. Vanities Emptiness is a controversial format-defining card. It was once never played, then Necros showed up and it became a 3, then they put it at 1, and now it's finally banned. This card has stolen so many games. This card has affected so many boards, and it has created so many situations, and I have randomly top-decked it too late in the game so many times. I thought it was fine at 1. Again, yeah, it can be an unfair, overly broken card, but Floodgates are. I kind of get the feeling maybe they're just going to start doing one Floodgate hit a ban list. They tried it with Kaiser Coliseum, and the reaction was, why that one? So why not go with a card that everyone inherently hates anyways with Vanities? So, yeah, that was it. All jokes and reactions aside for a minute, the ban list this time wasn't too crazy, but at the same time, I'm also glad it wasn't too violent. I don't think anyone was actually killed, okay, except Kirin, and FTK nonsense. I like it. It really hit some stuff that really was problematic. Again, the biggest thing in this ban list, in my opinion, was to hit Zodiacs, which I think they did in a way that is fair, and to bring the erratas, which is weird. Chaos Emperor Dragon and Witch of the Black Forest isn't here either. I forget, were those confirmed for Duelist Saga, or are they saving those? Maybe they are a little afraid that we might overly abuse those, but again, like, most of these errata cards, I don't care, but again, I care that I got 2 Wisdom Eye, I care that I won't have to deal with Zodiac bullshit as much, so yeah, I'm happy. But what did you think? In the comments section below, give me your thoughts on this ban list, if there's anything you think can still be overly abused with Zodiacs, or whatever you believe. And as always, click to like and click to subscribe, and we'll see you all March 31st, when it's time to put everything into effect.